y'all, welcome back. So today's video is going to be a first impressions on this Rimmel Magnif'eyes shadow palette, and this one is in the shade 003 Grunge Glamour. Very pretty. It's very cool toned. It has matte and shimmer shadows. This is the look I created with it today. I wanted to test out as many shadows as possible, but also test out the darker shadows, which can be a little tricky sometimes. Don't forget to leave me video suggestions down below or any products you'd like to see me try if I haven't already. I'm always open for suggestions, so don't forget to do that before you leave. Let's just go ahead and just keep watching to see my thoughts on this Rimmel palette. Alright, so I went ahead and put tape on my eyes just to make it a little bit easier for me as I play with these shadows. And I did prime my eyes with this NYX eyeshadow base. So this is the eyeshadow palette. I hauled it a little while back. It is called the Magnif'eyes eyeshadow contouring palette from Rimmel London. So this is what it looks like, and this is in the shade 003 Grunge Glamour. So I mainly bought it for this shade right here. It's so beautiful. It's such a pretty purple, and that's the shade I'm going to try to use as the star of the eyeshadow look today. I'm always interested in trying to find like new drugstore eyeshadows because or eyeshadow palettes, because I don't normally use them. I normally just use high-end ones because I mean it's just better quality. I haven't really found a drugstore eyeshadow palette that I love, like, you know, like Urban Decay ones. Let's just jump right into this. So I always like to set my base or concealer with a nice like cream shade. So I'm gonna go in with this guy right here. He looks to be matte, so let's see. Okay, there's quite a bit of fallout, like a lot of fallout, kind of like the Wet n Wild eyeshadow palette that I hauled or did a review on a while back. Yeah, lots of fallout, but that doesn't really bother me. I know I said that in that video as well. It really doesn't bother me. I just kind of blow it away. But if you have contacts, trust me, I know it kind of gets in there if you do like your under eye and stuff. So that can be kind of annoying, but other than that, it really doesn't bother me. But if that bothers you, I can kind of see this palette already, like first impressions, maybe not working out for you because it is so powdery. So this white cream shade is nice, but you do have to build it up to get it as white as you want. So if you just like a nice, just sheer shade of white before you put your colors on, then I think this would be great. But for me personally, I just like to build it up to where it's like very opaque, very white. I just feel like it kind of gives my eyeshadow it just makes it look a little bit better. So I'm finding that I kind of have to build this white shade up, which is fine. It's not a big deal. It's just kind of annoying if you have other palettes that you can just do like one swipe and you're good. So now we're gonna move on to a transition shade, and it looks to me like there's only one transition shade in this palette, and it's going to be this guy right here. And it's like a peachy tan shade, so we're gonna see how this works out with this one later on. So just going in with a fluffy blending brush, and right off the bat I'm noticing that this shade is not as powdery as the first white shade. So I don't really know why. I mean, it is powdery, but not as much. And by the way, this is my first Rimmel palette that I've ever tried, so I don't really have anything to compare it to. I mean, I don't have anything from Rimmel eyeshadow wise. I don't even think I have any like eyeliner or mascara or anything. I basically just use their foundations, which are really good, by the way. So this transition shade, it is looking kind of like a skin color, like maybe a little bit darker. It doesn't really give off too much color, which is nice for a transition shade, but if you're going in with like darker shades, it may be a little bit harder to transition. But I mean, it's a good shade. I mean, especially if you're going for like a more natural look. Do you like my little Easter decoration back there? He's so cute. I just had to put him somewhere in this video right before Easter. So now we're gonna move on to this purple shade I've been dying to try, and we're just gonna put that all over our lid. We're gonna go for kind of a smoky look today, as always, but yeah, this one's gonna go all over our lid. Hopefully it looks good. Okay, so this is a little bit darker, like not as purpley as I was expecting. And this one, you do have to build up to get it as dark as you want. And I feel like the more I build it up, the more purple it gets a little bit. It is actually a really pretty purple. It's just not, I don't know. I feel like it would be a little bit more pink. Like this looks a lot darker than this in my opinion. What do y'all think? And again, with the powdery formula, it's this whole palette's gonna be powdery, but I'm finding that none of them are as powdery as the cream shade, which is good. So I guess if you wanted like a light purple, you just go with that, but for me personally, that's not how I roll. I just like everything really dark, so you're just gonna have to just bear in mind if you have this palette or you're wanting to try this palette, I feel like you're gonna have to build these up a little bit, which is fine, no big deal, but it's kind of annoying considering you can buy palettes that you don't have to do that with, you know? Don't you just love it when your camera cuts off on you and you have no idea where you left off? That's amazing. I'm not sure where I left off, but basically I was saying that I'm gonna go in with this dark brown transition shade, and where is it? Right here. And I was trying to show you how much fallout and how powdery this is. I mean, it's just crazy. Like you just, I mean, it's just a lot. So I'm gonna go in with this brown shade on a defined crease brush and just put that right in my crease to kind of blow out the purple. And this brown is not looking as dark as I thought it was gonna be. I guess this is just like the darker the shades go. Well, pretty much the entire palette you have to build up, but the darker the shades go, the more you have to build it up. I'm impressed with how good this blends out, like really impressed. I'm very picky with eyeshadows. That's why I only purchase like high-end ones like Urban Decay or Too Faced. I really love Morphe. If you haven't tried Morphe, you really need to, but those are actually really great quality eyeshadows, but I'm really picky with my eyeshadows, so I don't normally buy drugstore palettes, which I think I said earlier, but I'm really impressed with how well these are blending out. So the pigment is okay. It's kind of what I would expect from a drugstore eyeshadow palette, but the way it blends out is just really nice. Like it's very easy to blend out, very easy to get a nice smoky blown out look. I really enjoy that about it. Now I'm just gonna go back in with this peach shade and kind of blend the top part of that brown out, just so it kind of is even a little bit more smoky, and just to see how just everything blends together. Personally, I would not choose a peach shade to be my transition shade in this palette because everything is so cool and that's like a really warm tone shade. I would probably choose like a taupe or something like that. I think that would be a little bit better for this palette, but regardless, everything is blending really, really nice. Everything is just looking really good. The only thing that I'm hesitant about is just the pigmentation of the shadows. I mean, it's just not where I would want them to be, but again, for the price, you can't really beat it. I mean, I feel like that looks pretty good. It's very just blown out, which is the way I like it, and I'm impressed with the blendability of these shadows. All right, so now I'm just gonna go ahead and finish with the rest of my face. I'm gonna put everything on full face, and I'll come back to finish my eyes and give you my final thoughts on this Rimmel eyeshadow palette. Okay, so now I have all of my face done, so I'm ready to do my bottom lash line. I think I'm gonna line the bottom with the purple just to see how it looks smoky. So here's the purple again, and I'm gonna be using it on this like straight brush right here to kind of get a really nice, precise line. Sometimes dark shadows like this can look just black or gray, but this one's actually showing up pretty true to color. So I'm just going to smoke that out with a pencil brush, and I'm gonna mix the brown and the peach shade because I don't want it to be like overbearing. So we're gonna see how that looks. I think I actually blended out really, really well. All right, so my eyes are completely done now, and I do have some final thoughts to kind of go over. I purchased this because I really loved the cool toned eyeshadows, and I loved this purple in the pan, and it just had like a nice mix of mattes and shimmers. So final thoughts for this and first impressions, I believe that this is definitely a palette worth trying, especially if you love makeup or if you just would like to try more drugstore eyeshadow palettes, or you don't really have many eyeshadow palettes to begin with. I believe that this is a great place to start. This has, like I said, a nice mix of matte and shimmers, and even if you're not big into the darker shades right here, you have this front section right here that is great for an everyday look, or just to kind of spice up a smoky eye by putting gold or just this lighter gold right here into your inner corner on your lid. There's just like lots of different ways that you can wear this to make it suit you and your personality. You don't just have to do smoky looks like I did. Now, I do feel like a downfall to this palette is the pigmentation. So it's not as pigmented as I would like. However, this is a drugstore palette for a drugstore price, so you're getting what you pay for. And to get shadows that are very blendable, very easy to use, and the pigmentation is there, you just have to build it up, I totally think it's worth the price. It was under $10. So for the price, you're definitely getting what you pay for, plus more with how blendable these shades are. I mean, I was just blown away with how blendable they were, how easy it was to make a smoky eye, how just, because usually sometimes darker shades like the purple that I use are just very hard to blend out, but these were not. I mean, it was very easy. So again, overall, I would definitely pick this up, purchase it, try it out. If you don't like how dark these are, you can always go for the other two. I think there's like a warm toned one maybe. I forget. You can look online at their website. I know they're on there, and then they're always on like drugstore websites as well. So definitely worth a try. Definitely worth a try. Alright y'all, well that was the end of this video. I really hope that y'all enjoyed this. Don't forget to give this video a like if you enjoyed it. And don't forget to subscribe before you leave. And I will see y'all in my next video. Bye y'all.